Hello, hello, hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Shane Griffiths of Clarity Online. Shane, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Gresham.
No problem. Super excited to have you on. And before we jumped in, I want to read a little bit more about Shane so you can hear about all the awesome things that he's doing. And Shane is an SEO and WordPress expert based in Seattle, Washington. He is the co-founder of Clarity Online, an SEO and WordPress development agency. By creating or rebuilding websites for SEO from the beginning, Clarity helps clients rank in Google and generate leads faster with less investment. Clarity uses a collaborative, data-driven approach to problem solving to achieve quick wins aligned with long-term strategy. Shane, are you ready to speak to the IMCL community?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Let's do it. So to kick everything off, I wanted to kind of go back in time and hear more about what I call your CEO story. We'll let you get started with your business.
Cool. So I'd say my CEO story started out when I was quite young. So my dad was an entrepreneur. So I grew up working for him, in kind of a machine shop type of environment. So I kind of learned the ropes from him. And when I was 13, I actually started my first business doing computer repair. So that's kind of when I got my toes in the water, per se. From there at 19, I started my second business doing kind of creative graphic design, web design, any kind of marketing stuff I could kind of teach myself how to do. And that was kind of fun because I kind of learned how to, how business works, how to work with people, contracts, pricing, like deliverables, all that stuff. That was at 19. And then a few years ago when I was 26, I moved to Seattle and started my current business, Clarity Online, with a business partner. And what we do is SEO mostly, SEO and web design. And yeah, I couldn't be happier out here. Lots of opportunity, and I've really been able to grow my business and grow myself professionally.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to kind of hear you having that entrepreneurial bug, so to speak, and sounds like it claimed through the bloodline, and you being able to kind of build and grow and see opportunities. But it also sounds like you've been able to kind of do it from your talents, your expertise, and your interests, it sounds like as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It was cool kind of starting out, just doing whatever I could figure out how to do. But over time, I learned, the saying, jack of all trades, master of none. Mm-hmm. So my latest venture, I really learned how to specialize. And that's when things really took off for me.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. So I know you touched a little bit upon, what you're doing with clients. Could you take us through that, what that process looks like and how you serve the clients you work with?
Yeah, so at Clarity Online, we work with all different types of businesses from, small retail like hair salons and local service area businesses to larger like nonprofits and enterprise companies. And we use a data-driven approach. So we're very insight-based. We analyze, crunch a lot of data from clients' websites and competitors to kind of figure out where the holes are. And then from there, we develop a strategy to fill the holes and then outperform competitors. So we offer services ranging from SEO consulting, where we work with like an in-house team to kind of like we do some, they do some, very collaborative approach, to a hands-on, we do a strategy, implementation, everything. And basically like our goal is to deliver value and help grow a company.
Nice. I absolutely love that. And I love how you have those different options because I'm sure that you have experienced, clients that have different needs, and being able to kind of be, I guess, flexible will be the right word, to what the client needs to be able to help them hit that goal. And of course, achieve that value that you reference as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Flexibility is key in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say definitely in this industry, but obviously in all industries and in technology especially has, changed, and obviously so many other things that are happening as well. So truly appreciate that. So now I wanted to ask you for what I call your secret sauce, and it could be for yourself personally or your business, but what do you feel kind of sets you apart and makes you unique?
So I'd say our secret sauce is we look at SEO as a platform or as a foundation. So there's a few different ways to look at SEO, and it can be kind of difficult to differentiate it if you don't understand it. But if you look at some of the most successful companies, websites on the internet, like Amazon, Yelp, Zillow, they all used SEO as a foundation for their business. So they started with SEO and then designed the product around that. And by doing that, you can be leaps and bounds more successful than your competitors, as opposed to doing SEO afterwards. So that's kind of what we try to do. We either build websites from the ground up or rebuild websites from the ground up with that SEO foundation and platform in place so that everything else the company does is going to be successful.
Nice. I absolutely love that. And I don't know if this is why, but do you feel like because when you have that foundation or you're taking that approach with that foundation in mind, you're also more cognizant of it? Because like how you talked about it before, how sometimes people will say, oh, we need to do SEO like it's kind of an afterthought. It becomes an afterthought in everything you're doing with the business as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So SEO isn't just, having somebody go in and add keywords to a page. It's really a mindset. So by like instilling that mindset in the entire organization, you can just be incredibly more successful than taking other approaches.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that perspective and that mindset that you talked about and that mentality, understanding, how integral it can be. And obviously, as you referenced, there was some pretty successful companies that had that same mentality that have been able to blossom as a result. So definitely appreciate that secret sauce. And so I wanted to switch gears a little bit and I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. So this could be like an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but what's something that makes you more effective and efficient?
Yeah, so I'd say my CEO hack is pretty old school, but it's all about staying disciplined. Because that's been what's really made me successful individually and as a business owner. But my biggest tool to do that is pen and paper and writing myself a daily checklist. So every single day I make a list of what I want to get done today. I prioritize it. And as I go through the day, I cross it off. And doing that just keeps me focused on task. It lets me know what's important. And then before I go to bed every night, I make a new list for the next morning. So that way I'm prepared to wake up, know exactly what has to be done, and can just stay disciplined and focused.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I don't know if you find the exact same thing, like when you're running a business, especially, you often want to have those kind of bookends at the end of the day and the beginning of the day, because a lot of times you can start going through your day, putting out fires and doing a bunch of different things. But if you have that kind of quote unquote North Star, where you have that checklist of this is what I want to accomplish, it helps you to direct yourself, helps you to get back focused. And I think it also helps, teams and people as well to be able to understand like what page you're on and what you're actually executing on.
Yeah, I can totally agree.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. So I wanted to ask you now for what I call a CEO nugget. So that could be a word of wisdom or piece of advice. It could be around SEO or around WordPress development, or it might be something if you were to hop in a time machine, you would tell your younger business self.
Yeah, so this is kind of similar to the secret sauce, but my CEO nugget is don't make SEO an afterthought. So organizations, even before the internet, have been doing SEO, and those that have been more successful than those who haven't. So if you think about the days of the yellow pages, you'll see so many businesses that were ABC Plumbing, right? AZ Locksmith. The reason they do that is because, well, when people want to find a plumber or a locksmith, they open the yellow pages and that's the first thing they see, but it's listed alphabetically. So with SEO, it's kind of the same thing. So if you think about your website, I'd say the worst thing you could do is have one page called services, right? Because nobody searches for services. If you're a window company, they're going to search for, window replacement and then a city, or they might search for a brand of windows. So whatever specific services or products your company offers, you want to have a page for each one, because that's how people search. And on top of that, the buying journey has changed a lot, where previously people might call you and ask you a bunch of questions to kind of vet you as a company. Now they use Google to find all those things out. So if you're like in a sales role and you commonly talk to leads or prospects and they have, a certain set of questions they tend to ask you, those are all questions that people are actually Googling. So they're going to Google to find those answers. And if you don't have them, if you don't want to list your pricing or you don't want to answer those questions on your website, they're going to keep searching till they find someone who does. So the best thing you could do is answer those questions preemptively on your website. And that will kind of close the, help them complete their research and see you as a credible source, and then likely, become a lead.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I love, you mentioning that the people are doing SEO before the internet. And I think so many times we might hear our people reference SEO, not really understanding the kind of like the psychology of it, which is what I love that you went into, because you're trying to basically be where somebody is searching for. So once you understand that, you're able to kind of, like Wayne Gretzky says, skate to where the puck is, and skate to where the puck is going to be. So if you understand where the puck is going to be and you're there, by not having that service page, by having the Windows service page as you referenced, then you have that opportunity to be where your potential clients are going to be.
Yeah, it's all about showing up when people are searching. So yeah, definitely just analyze the psychology, figure out what the intent is, and reverse engineer it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Obviously, you guys do that, and definitely on a deeper level, you've been able to kind of teach us as well too. So now I want to ask you my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on the show. So Shane, what does being a CEO mean to you?
Being a CEO to me means getting to decide what your company stands for. So your company can stand for just about whatever you decide it to. I decided that my company should stand for quality, good service, and transparency. So as a CEO and as a leader, I practice those. Those are values that I appreciate in other businesses I work with. And by leading by example, I get to make my company essentially practice what I preach. And all of the employees and contractors and everybody who works with my company all kind of share the same mindset. And therefore, that's what my company becomes.
Nice. I absolutely love that. And I think so many times we forget that kind of like the mindset or the culture of, your company kind of starts with you and what you hold true. And especially when you're a founding CEO, you started a business or an organization, when you realize you want certain principles or values and you hold them to be most important, you have the ability to do that. But not only that, you start to attract those same people that do have them, or sometimes push away those people that don't have them because they don't align, whether that be clients or customers or obviously team members as well too. So I love that perspective and that definition, because it's definitely holistic, and it starts where a lot of things start, which is with us and what we want to accomplish.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, getting everybody aligned is super important to delivering, a consistent brand, a consistent message, and then keeping that throughout the longevity of your company.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate that so much, Shane. And I appreciate your time even more. What I wanted to do is pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional you can let our readers and listeners know. And of course, how best they can get a hold of you and find out about all the awesome things you guys are working on.
Sure. Yeah, I'd say when it comes to SEO, just don't make it an afterthought. If you're going to build a new website, please bring in an SEO consultant or do some research yourself before you start that, because you will save so much money as opposed to having to go in and try to, fix it, so to speak. Like SEO is really a foundation of a house. It's not an addition you put on at the end. So yeah, with that in mind, just do some research and you should be much more successful by getting people to your website for free as opposed to having to pay for advertising afterwards. If you want to reach out to me, you could reach me at clarity-online.com or by email at Shane, SHANE, at clarity-online.com.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much again, Shane. We will have the links and information in the show notes, but I appreciate you for hammering that home too. SEO is definitely, not an afterthought. It's an integral part. It's a foundation, as you said, to everything that you're doing. And I think when you approach it more like that, in terms of like building the house, as you said, in that foundation, rather than kind of like the cherry on the top, so to speak, I think you can have a lot more success and see a lot more of desired results, which is what we all want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And have a phenomenal rest of the day.
Cool. Thank you, Gresham. You too. Thanks for having me.